Hello, everyone. This is Alejandra with Proctor Gallagher Institute. I am super excited about the topic today, which is the terror barrier. Oftentimes we go through life setting goals, but not really achieving them. So we have to ask ourselves, why is that? What is stopping us from moving on to that next level? So today I'm going to talk to you about this specific topic that is dear to my heart, especially something that Bob Proctor used to talk a lot about and taught me through the material Thinking into Results. So what is the terror barrier? You see, I'm going to actually share a little image so that it portrays, it tells you a little bit better more about how it works. Although I would love to share with you more that first slide, which is this is a quote from Eleanor Roosevelt, where she says, "You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You're able to say to yourself, I have lived through this horror, and I can take the next thing that comes along. You must do the thing you think you cannot do." This is a very powerful quote because, as I said before, when I started this video, is oftentimes we move through life with fear, with the idea of, oh my God, like of all the things that could happen if you start focusing on what is it that you want to accomplish. So again, Bob Proctor has an illustration of how this works. The first one that you see here is bondage. Everyone wants freedom. Everyone wants freedom of living the best life they want. But they have an idea, but they really don't follow through. So this is bondage. It's when you have an X idea and you are emotionally involved with that X idea, and that's when you create those results. So for instance, you're someone that's making around $50,000. You have that wishful thinking that you would love to make more, but you never really put that as a goal. You never really follow through. You actually just stay in that idea that you're someone that makes $50,000. So what happens is that's what you're emotionally connected to, and that's why you keep creating the same results year in and year out. Then we have then the next level is when you're contemplating a why idea, meaning you're contemplating you are someone that could potentially make $100,000 a year. You know for a fact that you have all the qualities that that could potentially make you $100,000. You're contemplating it, but you're not getting emotionally involved. This is when I always refer to the making resolutions at the beginning of the year, where you have all these ideas, all these goals of what you want to accomplish, but then you really don't do anything about it. You're contemplating it. It isn't a why idea, but because you're not emotionally involved with that idea, you don't really do anything about it. Your body just keeps doing the same thing over and over again, simply because you're not emotionally involved with that idea. Then the next stage is when you are that why idea, you are really contemplating it and you're really getting emotionally involved with that idea. So when you start thinking about, like, this is what I'm going to do in 2022, I'm going to be making $100,000. That's my goal at the end of December. And you start thinking about how you could potentially work towards that. But what happens? It gets into that subconscious level, and I've explained to this graphic illustration where the bottom half of the circle is our subconscious mind. That's when we get emotionally involved with ideas. And then what happens? That why idea, it is absorbed into your subconscious, but what happens? You start getting this this feeling inside of you, oh my God, this, I have fears of what could happen. So you move towards life with that fear. Either you have two options, either you break through that terror barrier or you actually stay where you are. And that's what happens, is that if you don't do anything about it, because you allow fear to kick you in the butt, then you just simply go back into bondage, doing exactly the same thing over and over again. But if you decide, no matter what, I'm going to break through this terror barrier, I'm going to go ahead. Yes, you're going to feel like a storm, like your life is starting to become unbalanced, but because those fears start kicking in, but you're not allowing those fears or the terror barrier hold you back. You're just actually moving through it. And that's when you actually allow for freedom. That's when you actually start feeling what it is to have the freedom, to have the control of your life. You see, what happens during that time when you're making a goal, getting emotionally involved with a goal, there's two polar opposites. One is the negative, and then one is the positive. So when we get involved with that negative idea, the negative thinking, the negative emotions, the doubt and worry comes in, what happens, our subconscious mind will start absorbing those feelings, creating anxiety in your body. And what happens with anxiety, there's disease. Disease is when the body's not at ease. And that's what happens. You have stomach aches, you start feeling sick, you allow stress to come in, to kick in because of that negative thinking. But then when you have this positive side, when you are actually allowing the positive thinking, you start investigating, you start understanding. In order to break through the terror barrier, you need to understand exactly what is the fears, what can you do about it, how can you solve those problems. And once you do that, when understanding happens, that's when you can break through the terror barrier. And that's very powerful, because with understanding, faith comes in. And I'm not talking about blind faith. I'm talking about faith that comes from knowledge, from the understanding of the potential that you have, because you have all these faculties within you that you can use in order to get to your goal. So when you have that understanding, you have you have faith, that faith where it becomes, you get emotionally involved with it, that you trust the process, that you trust that everything that you will do from now on, it will take you to your goal. And that's really truly believing in what you can potentially do. Once you do that, you move through life without allowing those fears to come in, without allowing those negative thinking to come in. So you move through it, you move through the barriers. And when you actually are living in faith, that's when you realize the full potential. Your body will start moving at ease, because you're not fighting through the fear, you're actually going with the flow of life. And that's when it gets super powerful. And that's when you start creating. Creation is manifestation. And a lot of people don't understand how manifesting works, but that's how it works. When you allow all that positive thinking goes through your life, through your body, through all, like you start vibrating at that energy, that's when you start attracting the opportunities and the things that you must have in order for you to realize your goals. So it's all about trusting the process. It's all about trusting that you're capable of achieving more. So this powerful illustration here is super, super important, because this is when you can really think of, okay, where am I? What are the results that I'm creating? And the results that are creating, it can tell you exactly where you are in this stage. So I just want to leave you with a few key points. Anytime you're setting a goal that results in you skipping a couple of rungs on the ladder of success, you will run up against the terror barrier. When you are actually creating that quantum leap, basically that's what I mean. When you want to go from 50,000 to 100,000, there's a lot of fears that come through because you've never been there. So that's what create the terror barrier is like, okay, I've never done that. I've never been $100,000. I've never done a 6-figure income. So how am I going to do that? So your mind will create that polarization. Whenever you get to go to make a serious change in lifestyle, moving out of your comfort zone, you will run up against the terror barrier. And oftentimes when, for instance, is creating that body of your dream, maybe getting into bodybuilding, you've never been there. So you will move against the terror barrier because you don't know what you're going to go through. With any change that would come under the category of a major change in your behavior, the terror barrier will instantly and automatically be standing between you and the good that you desire. So it's all about change. Your subconscious mind is not used to change. So when there's change happening, when you're changing habits in the things that you must do, there's polarization. It's like you want to, your subconscious mind wants to stay where it is. Your ego wants you to stay where you are. That's the negative part of it. The ego always wants you to stay where you are. But once you decide that you're not going to allow ego to get in the way, that's when you start feeling more at ease. When this happens, you have a choice. You can step back into safety, which is bondage, and continue to experience the same results year after year. Again, that's you stay at the bondage level. Or you can be courageous and experience the growth that you have been seeking. So I leave you with that. Where are you planning to stay? Are you planning to stay in bondage your whole life? Because there's a lot of dreams that you have. And it reminds me of Les Brown. He always says is that if you look at the cemetery, there's a lot of ideas that were never come into fruition because people died with them. So who are you? Do you want to live a life of bondage or do you want to live a life of freedom? If you want to live a life of freedom, let's connect. Please send me a DM or schedule a call with me one-on-one. Let's look at what is it that you want to achieve and let's work towards to making it come true. So are you ready to make that change? Are you ready to fight through the terror barrier and live the life that you always wanted to live? If so, again, contact me, call me, and I would be happy to set that 1 hour and just let's talk. You never know what this conversation will lead you. Have an amazing day, and I will see you soon. Bye.